Hey everybody, Bob Babbitt here. Welcome to Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Daytona and the PTO 2020 Championship. We're brought to you by Captiva Spine, John Hall Chevrolet, USA Triathlon, Foundation Risk Partners, and of course the PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization. A gentleman who has been part of PTO for quite a while now, Mr. Timothy O'Donnell. How you doing, T.O.?
Great, Bob. So happy to be here. Plexiglass or not, doesn't matter.
We've got our salad bar shield here. Yeah. It feels like we're at, having dinner. Little garbanzo beans over here. I like it. Talk a little bit about, because you've been involved really since PTO was just an idea, and now it's come into fruition, and we're here at an event with $1.15 million.
It's an amazing progression. And you know what's funny, Bob, is this all started at a racetrack. At Challenge Bahrain.
It did. That's right.
And now here we are, the biggest prize purse in triathlon, and we're here in Daytona.
Yeah, and you're coming off such an eventful year. One, you and Rennie are having your second child.
Yep. Very soon, by the way, Bob.
Oh, it's 6 months along?
36 weeks right now.
Oh my God! And you're coming off your best Kona, right? In fact, we have a gift bag that we're giving away from Master Spas for a person who came up with a question for you. And their question was, okay, T.O., you went 7:59, so you broke 8 hours,
yep,
and you ran a 2:49:44. What means more to you? the second place, the fast marathon, the sub 8 hours. What's means more to you?
You know what? Probably the run, just because I finally beat Rennie's family run course record.
Yes.
In Hawaii.
Very cool.
So that's pretty important.
I love that. Okay, and they will receive, and we'll send this great little gift bag from our folks at Master Spa. And speaking of that, having your own place to swim, that's not something you thought about before COVID. Obviously it's nice to have, but it became a necessity this year, right?
Yeah, we've been super lucky to partner with Master Spa. And we got our spa right before everything happened. So, it was amazing. It's a battle to keep it between Izzy likes it hot to play in, and then, Dad likes it a little cooler to swim in. But, actually I did a tune-up race in October in Claremont. The PTO put some money up for some local races.
Yeah.
And that was the first open water swim I had done in a long time. Actually, since I left Australia in January, and I realized I need to start doing more long swims in my Master Spa to get that open water simulation. So I've been cranking it down to low 70s, putting my wetsuit on, and been doing longer swims in my wetsuit, getting ready, just to get that load in the arms that you normally get when you're out doing racing and swimming open water more. But since we haven't been in the open water either, it's been a great tool.
So what's nice is when you're sort of ending a season or beginning a season with a casual race where you have not that much money on the line.
Yeah, just a few bucks, a couple shekels.
A couple shekels, and then just a couple local pros.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about an Alistair Brownlee, a Johnny Brownlee, or a Lionel Sanders or any of those ITU guys, Ironman guys, 70.3 guys. What are you thinking? You're looking back here, you see guys on the track. Probably a lot of guys you've never raced before.
Yeah, actually, I said that I was swimming with Joe Gambles before we came over here, and I don't recognize a lot of these guys. I don't know if it's I'm old or I'm racing too long of a distance right now, but there's going to be some short course guys that are amazing, obviously, some Olympians, and just some young guns that can definitely surprise you when a race like this.
Yeah, and when you think about it, what's cool is I like the fact it's a little longer swim, 1.2, which I think will suit both groups, all the groups, and then the bike ride. But when you're talking 20-meter draft rule and you're talking some nice crosswinds, I think it's something that can be a little bit of an equalizer.
Yeah, I've done. I mentioned Bahrain. Yeah. That was 2014. That was 20 meters as well, and it's the world of a difference.
It really is, isn't it? Was that the first time you've done a race like that?
That's the first time I've done, kind of that 20 meter.
Right.
And it's a lot different. It's harder.
Because I think when you've got a 10-meter draft rule, people are notoriously going to be 7, 8 meters.
Right. Everybody always tries to push the envelope.
But if you're 20, even if they're 15, 16, they're still a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some people will get called out for sure.
Yes.
It's a lot harder to hide. And, on such a flat, fast course like this, you never want to be leaving that aero position.
No.
So if you haven't spent a lot of time in that position that you need to be in, it's going to get difficult. It's going to get hard to hold that position, and it's going to get hard to, stand up straight when it's time to run and run well.
Has this normally, in a normal year, this is the time of year where you'd be relaxing after finishing Kona, and hard to gear up during this time of year?
It's crazy. I am so I'm just in that routine now after all these years that even after not really racing this year, I still feel like I'm in off season mode.
Right.
So it has been a little bit difficult, especially with Thanksgiving here in the U.S. and Rennie not training and Izzy getting older and wanting to be more playful and do things. So it's been tough, but luckily with the short fast race, the training has been very intense, but the actual hours of training have been lower.
Right.
I don't need to be doing those 6, 7, 8 hour long rides.
Yeah.
Or those 20+ mile runs. So that's been a little bit of a help to kind of keep me motivated and on track.
So coming into this last Kona in 2019, here you are dealing with a broken foot, right?
Yeah.
And were there points during that month or so, or 2 months leading in, where you didn't even know if you can get to the starting line?
Even within the 10 days of the race, Bob.
Wow.
I did not know. We do our last couple weeks training in Lawrence, Kansas.
Right.
And I didn't do my first run on pavement and non-weight assisted until a couple days before I left for Kona. So,
with your fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yep. And then my longest run was only a couple miles. So then I got to Kona. I did my longest run on pavement, which was 8 or 9 miles.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's 1/3 of the run, right?
Right.
I guess I can do that. So it was a mystery to me, even when I got off the bike in the race.
Well, that sort of takes the pressure off, you think? I mean, because you're sort of happy to be there. You're sort of appreciative to be there. And you're like, okay, every step I take is sort of a guess.
It's a bonus, right?
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
It's this a bonus mile.
Yeah.
I get a bonus mile. Rather than going, oh, my God, I got 26 miles to go. I'm getting to run.
Yeah. And it was amazing. And actually, when I hit transition, I hit T2, my legs actually felt really great. The best they've ever felt coming off the bike in Kona. And I think because I was forced to focus on my riding, I was in better ride shape, and
yes.
I subsequently didn't crush myself on the bike as much as I would normally do.
Yes.
And then even though I didn't have that run training, I was fresher, and I could just let the excitement and the gratitude of the day, being there on the day, I could let that kind of carry me. I did hit a pothole though in the energy lab, and I kind of rolled, and it was my broken foot, and I kind of rolled my ankle in a little bit. I'm like, oh, that could be it. And then I took another step. I'm like, no, I'm all right. Keep going.
So it's like you're running on eggshells the whole time,
seriously.
just because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, every step, you're like, is that going to be the step? And then you just have, at one point, you just like, don't worry about it. Forget about it.
So you've got Jan Frodeno off the front. You've got Sebastian Kienle, and then a charging Ben Hoffman, right, coming. And but really, you came off the bike second. You stayed second, right?
I didn't really see many people after kind of Jan broke away. 90 or 95 miles into the bike, he got a couple minutes. I didn't really see anybody from then on.
So you're by yourself?
Yeah, I was by myself, which is great. I love to run my own race. And I came through T2 and I saw the clock, and it was like 5:09 and change.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I can break 8 hours if I run under 250. I've never done that before, and I have a broken foot. But what the heck? Let's go try. And I just forgot about it, and I got into my race routine. And it wasn't until the turnaround in the energy lab where I saw some of the other guys, and I felt like I looked better than most of them. I actually didn't see Ben running so well.
Yes.
And I think at that point he was still
pretty
a fair
far
way
back.
Yeah. So then when Sebi started putting time into me at the end, I didn't realize he was trying to keep.
He was trying to keep Ben from getting him.
Yeah. So I'm like, I saw my coach Julie Dibbins, and I'm like, is he really putting time into me? And she's like, yep. I'm like, okay. And actually was able to pick it up a little bit.
Yes.
In the last couple K, which is another first for me. Usually I'm hanging on to dear life, just trying to get to that finish line.
And the fact that you're picking it up, and
yeah.
Sebi's not thinking about catching you.
No, I didn't
worried
realize
about catching.
I thought Sebi had his eyes on me. He's like, I'm going to get that guy. But he was worrying about Ben behind him, yeah.
That is wild. So, and going sub-8 after all those, you've had so many great performances in Kona, but getting second, 7:59. I mean, That has to be, and especially because it's not like you're 28, 29 years old. You're having your best performances later. And we've seen that over the years. I mean, back in 94, Dave Scott was 40. And I was like, oh my God, a guy finished second at the age of 40. There's no reason that if Timothy O'Donnell wants to race until his mid-40s at a high level that you can do that.
I don't see anything holding me back. I've felt better these last few years training and working on my efficiency and being smart. And it's a patient race, right?
Right.
So, I've been on both sides of the coin. I've been young and just fiery.
Right.
It usually doesn't get you to the finish line well. But when you can be smart and play your game, it can really benefit you.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of athletes who've had multiple coaches, right? And they learn from every coach they work with. So you're with Julie Dibbins now. You were with Mark Allen before that. What did you learn? What have you taken from each coach?
Yeah, great friend of mine, Greg Bennett, and one of the legends of short course racing. He always said coaches are like degrees, and you're with a coach, you study with them, and you learn.
Right.
And then at a point, it's almost like you're ready for another degree.
Yeah.
And I started out with Cliff English, who brought me into the sport to the highest level of the sport. And he really showed me what it took to be top level professional.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought me there. I won my world championship, ITU world championship with him, and
course,
podium at 70.3 worlds. Amazing results. And then with Mark, it was a huge lesson in really what I mentioned earlier, patience and even with my training, I took a big step back, focused on aerobic training.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little burnout at the time, and I think it extended my career. And I think that put me in a great point. It kind of reset my whole system, and it brought me to the point where I could start working with Julie locally in Boulder.
Right.
And kind of put everything I learned from Cliff and Mark all together in this one package with a little Julie Dibbins spice.
And also having that person local, that makes a big difference, right? Because they can see you on a daily basis.
Yeah, we were actually at the pool the other day, and Julie just looked at us, and she's like, "Nope, I got a new set." She's just like, it's kind of like racehorses when you can see them,
right?
What they need to do. So that's been a huge benefit, and she's such a team player as well. We work with Matt Bottrell, who's our cycling coach,
right?
And he's been a godsend as well with Julie. As I get older, I need to be smarter, and a lot of that comes from position on the bike and the proper training, and that's been a big key to our success these last 2 years.
You've been doing the Ironman race in Hawaii for a number of years, and when we look back, the swim times have not really changed that much, right? The run times, if you're running in the low 240s, you're there. It's been the bike where everything has changed. How have you had to adapt to that?
That's a great way to put it, Bob. Adapt, it's adapt or die, right?
Totally. And it's not like like you've had success, and then all of a sudden, Cam Worth comes over and goes 408. And it's like, okay, we all need to move.
Well, I trained so much with Crowe. He used to come to Boulder in the summers, and he used to always say, you ride under 430, and then you run under 250, you're going to win.
Right.
That's not the case anymore.
Right.
That is not the case.
Yeah, Mark Allen's fastest bike split, I think, was like 429, something like that.
Yeah.
And his swim and run is still there. But if you're not doing what the other guys are doing to be able to go 410, 4.8, 410, you're not in the ballgame.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes from really being in a good position, good bike position, literally like your aerodynamics and your efficiency on the bike. And I think if you look at guys' powers over the years, maybe it hasn't changed that much, but you're getting more speed out of your power now. And
still able to be in a position where you can get off and run.
Absolutely. And that comes from being able to handle, surges. It's a very tactical race, particularly in the men's race.
Yes.
So, being able to kind of cover stuff and not let that affect your body down the road is important as well. Love it.
T.O., always a pleasure to chat with you, man.
Thanks,
Bob. I'm looking forward to you guys with number 2. You're going to have to do another TV show. Or
I know. We're going to have to change our logo. It just has Tim and Rennie plus Izzy on it now. I'm going to have a fire sale on all the merch.
Timothy O'Donnell has been our guest. You're always so much fun to chat with.
Thanks,
T.O.
Bob.
Thank you, buddy.
Great being here.
Again, Breakfast with Bob, Challenge Daytona in the PTO 2020 Championship. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.